NHL insider Elliotte Friedman has revealed the strategy that Calgary Flames general manager Craig Conroy will take into free agency this offseason. And I think it will please Flames fans a lot to know that it is quite a different mindset from a certain ex-GM of ours. We will get into all of these plans being revealed and more. But first, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I am Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, fastest growing community of Flames fans on the internet. But without further ado, let's hop in here to Friedman reveals the plans. Yes, oh baby, we got an F-bomb for you today. It's always nice when Elliotte Friedman and any NHL insiders really are mentioning the Calgary Flames in their topics. So recently, I believe it's the most recent episode of the Jeff Marek Show. By the time this video comes out, might be a couple. But either way, Elliotte and Jeff were talking Calgary Flames, and Elliotte, he really had some stuff to share about our beloved hockey franchise. So let's dive in here. A nice tweet here from Fiery Breadman. Love that Twitter account. If you're not following it, such great Flames info. But either way, tweet goes, Elliotte Friedman on the Jeff Marek Show today said that he has heard the Flames will be very careful about term for free agency. He has heard that some of the UFA D-men are getting Orlov-type offers. So one thing we really need to take out of here, we really need to analyze, is that it's careful about term. Because let's be honest, a few of the contracts that have been signed to the Calgary Flames in recent off seasons have had huge terms. You think Huberdeau, you think Weegar, you think Kadri. You know, there's some long contracts there. Am I saying all those contracts are bad? No. Is there one that's especially bad? Yes, of course. But either way, Conroy's going to be very careful about term here, which is good for a team that is rebuilding. We don't need players signed for a long time. We just need some temporary players that can, really just play at the NHL level until we are ready to contend, and we can really go forward with the young players that hopefully we will continue to develop, and of course will draft and then develop. There's a lot of youth that will hopefully be coming up. Believe in the youth movement. We haven't had this in a long time. But if we continue to another tweet here, Friedman said the Flames will be careful about term, but will pay up the AAV to get a player. So if there are any players, maybe it's a grizzled vet, or maybe it's someone who just wants another shot at the NHL, they could be getting a decent payday here. Maybe it's a retirement home almost. They could get a good payday here and not have to worry about too much term, which is better. Honestly, it's so much better in the place the Flames are at right now to go with a high average. We have cap space. That's fine as long as it's just for a short amount of time. I mean, that being said, if McDavid straight up was like, I want to be traded here and then I'll sign an extension past my current contract for a long time, we'd say yes. Is that ever going to happen? No. So either way, it is great news. It is refreshing here to hear that we're going to focus on the actual AAV here, the actual salary, and not worry about the term. Nothing longer. Honestly, I hope this means nothing longer than about 3 years, depending on the player, of course. If they're young with potential, maybe see them go a little longer as long as it's not an overpayment kind of thing. And we'll just have to continue to see. Because as I said, we need to believe in this youth movement. I'm going to pull this up to make it a little bit bigger here for you. So the Flames now have 15 picks in the first 3 rounds over the next 3 seasons, which is fantastic. So they have 6 firsts, 4 seconds, and 5 thirds over the next 3 drafts, which is just amazing. I mean, when's the last time we said we could have this? Hopefully at least a few of these, at least, So 15 picks in the first 3 rounds of the next 3 seasons. I would hope at least 5 of these picks end up being absolute hits, and then a few of them hopefully can come up to the NHL as well. It better be that our first round picks are all hits. I know it's very, very hit or miss, and we tend to miss a little bit. I'm hoping with, Todd Button knows what he's doing. Craig Conroy knows what he's doing. Even some of the other guys involved in the organization. I'm sure Jerome McGinley has some good insight. But either way, believing in these picks, they are the ones that we will hopefully eventually give the term to. And depending on how good they are, maybe it'll be a high AAV as well. But for now, just focusing on the AAV, we do not need term. I really like to see that. The entire Brad Treliving era in Calgary is also a giant reminder to not hand out a bunch of NMCs and NTCs. This comes from user at Fan960 Logan Gordon, of course, if anyone knows him. It sewers your team when the player eventually wants out. We have seen this like crazy recently, of course, with Jacob Markstrom, some of the other players that have departed. It is important to not hand out these NMCs, NTCs, these no movement clause, no trade clauses. We need to be able to dish a player out wherever we can get the best package back. And it's so important. I think Conroy has shown that he'll focus on the AAV and not the term, but also this is a great insight here of making sure that you don't hand out, you know, massive, a full no movement clause or a full no trade clause. Maybe a 10-team list is fine. I get that that is part of the business, but either way, very, very good point here. And just one last thing from Friedman. So Friedman on the Jeff Marek Show once again. What had been kept pretty quiet up until yesterday was that Markstrom had allowed the Flames to expand the search a bit. That's pretty crazy about the Jacob Markstrom situation. And I think there were a few teams in on it. I think Toronto was one. I think Ottawa was one. I had heard his preference was to go east. So very interesting here. Friedman is just spilling out everything. Some more rumors here. I personally today just saw a TikTok of Jacob Markstrom kind of introducing himself to Devils fans, and I had a good laugh. It wasn't supposed to be funny, but for some reason I found it hysterical. But either way, interesting that Friedman is just spewing out all this, and Markstrom really was trying to make a deal work here. I would have felt so bad for him if he was still a Flame going into next season. But we've talked about all of this term. We've talked about, you know, what the Flames will do going into free agency. Well, who's out there and what kind of players are out there to make one of these signings happen, one of these high AAV and low terms? Well, why don't we get into some candidates? Of course, we have talked about 2 of the 3 people I'm going to mention in this next section before on the channel, but never have we really, you know, talked about it in this way, I suppose. So the first one is Sean Monahan, right there, the handsome guy on your screen. He had a very good season this year, kind of a bit of a bounce back after the Flames really pooped the chute, we will say. Screwed the pooch. Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? Don't let anyone know. Either way, he had a bounce back season after the Flames really gave up on him in a bad way, sort of. I know there's more logistics to it than that, but he had a great season, and there's rumors of the Flames doing an on-ice reunion. A lot of people think Monahan is one of those guys. He could definitely, I think Monahan himself might be after some term, just with his injury history, of course, but it does make sense for him to go for a high AAV, and even if it doesn't have term, and Calgary does make sense. Monahan is a good candidate here. Will it happen in this way? I guess we'll have to see. Does Monahan want to be here? I kind of doubt it, but of course, we will just have to wait and see. The next man, Brady Skjei. Now, this one makes the most sense in terms of this video, you know, going into free agency with this strategy of not long-term. Brady Skjei makes sense. He had a pretty good season this season with Carolina, but it looks like he may be one of those guys from the Hurricanes that will have to leave in order for them to be within the salary cap limits. And Brady Skjei, you know, he could come here, instantly goes right into the lineup. He's got a little bit of everything to his game. Over the years has developed a little bit more into a defensive guy, but as we've seen, he can still put up great offensive numbers, was a plus 15. There's a strong chance here that he will not be going after term and will just be going after money. It seems as though on Twitter, this is the unanimous kind of name being dropped as this new report came out from Friedman. But there you go. Keep your eye on Brady Skjei. Now, the last one here we have spoken about on the channel. This one was just kind of fun to throw in. But we got Steven Stamkos. Rumor has it he might be on his way out of Tampa Bay. He is 34 now, so it wouldn't be the longest term. And of course, it would be a high salary. So maybe for just a couple seasons, if he does want to retire sooner than later, this could be his chance to just get some dollar bills, having, you know, really limited responsibility. And it could be so valuable to have him with some of these younger guys. He could teach certain players a few things, and it could be fun. That one really was more so just for fun. I didn't see that anywhere on Twitter or on the internet. I just wanted to throw that one in. I love a bit of stammer. But either way, let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, everyone's favorite part of the day. Now, this one just goes with the Jacob Markstrom trade and the Andrew Mangiapane rumors of him potentially wanting out. And this tweet really did, or sorry, this comment really did capture it the best. It came from user Mark Dietz. It never ends. Giordano, Brody, Bennett, Monahan, Gaudreau, Kachuk, Lindholm, Zadorov, Toffoli, Hanifin, The list goes on and on. Of course, we can add Markstrom to that now. We have Chris Tanev in there. There have been other players over the years. Adam Fox, who just didn't want to be here. Not that he was ever a Flame, of course. Well, a mainstay Flame. But either way, it is so true. It sucks having these players always wanting to leave. Hopefully we can build a culture where players want to be here like it used to be way back in the day. Maybe that'll come with some different ownership. We'll have to see. Maybe that's what we all really want. But either way, thank you for commenting that. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe if you like what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.